the Louis Diaz podcast.
And so you do the sound, you do everything.
Everything.
Wow.
Yeah.
Let's click this on, bro.
Oh, shit. Yeah, the neon sign.
The neon sign. You can't bring this here and not turn it on, bro. Come on, man. Shit.
No, it's just that I forget.
That is sick, man.
Yeah, we're getting blown out by the sunlight a little bit. Welcome back to the Louis Diaz podcast to my audience. Welcome to Luke James.
What's going on, baby? How you doing?
How good is the sign?
It's sick, man. It's sick. Where'd you get that made? That looks like a premium sign, dude.
You know what? I got suckered in by Instagram. One of the about 100 times in the last 2 years that Instagram's just sold me something. You wake up in the morning and doom scroll for a while. You get an ad for some random shit that you don't need, right? And one of them was a neon sign. $800 later.
All right. How many times have you used it?
Bro, it's been the best. And that's what I do. When I buy something, I make sure I use it
you better
or
use
it's on
that
Marketplace. But, so I told this story a little while back. I'm not sure whether it was Stephen Bradshaw.
Dude,
I told
legend. Stephen He's got that Islander humor, dude. He's
a good guy.
A vibe, man.
Or was it Joe White? I can't remember. I told the story on one of the episodes. It was basically, Sweeney Young. It was basically, right, what I did is I bought the neon sign because I was on the verge of giving up the podcast, like quitting, right?
So you made a huge investment. You sunk a bunch of money into it.
Yeah, but also something that was going to be visible, so that I'd walk into my room and see it was up on the wall, shit. And it would be like, hello, there's this thing that you love doing that is a lot of work, and it makes you want to potentially at times want to sort of just like chill the fuck out and quit and maybe not do it anymore. But you love it so much, don't forget about it. So I sunk a bunch of money into this sign. I just had it hung up in my bedroom. Then about 6 months later, I decided to record out here in public. I invited Sean Collier onto the podcast, my first comedian.
Where were you doing it before?
I was doing them online. I was doing them over Zoom and that.
Oh, dude, that is way inferior. This is like, this is a vibe, man. Like, this is a world iconic location that you're doing it in.
Yeah, it's fun. It's fun. And we recorded here once. And then the second time I came back, I was like, I should bring the sign and see if that'll work. So, of course, you've got the sign, but now because you can't plug it into a wall, you've got to buy a battery. So now I've got to buy a battery. But as soon as I hung it up, I knew that I was onto something here. Like, this sign just works. I'm glad you like it.
And what about the clicky thing? What is the point of the clicky thing?
Oh, the clicky thing.
I never understood that.
That's an old school film technique, which is actually gone back to being new school again. And so back in the day, like imagine old films, they used to have these big bulky cameras, but all they did was record video. They didn't record audio.
Uh-huh.
Now your camera is an audio-visual device.
Oh, so it's like a clap.
Yeah, and what it does is it makes a spike in the sound wave, and what you do is you
sync that up.
Match it with
okay.
So it's to sync sound, and so this is recording sound right now, my 360 camera, but it's not the sound I want to use for the podcast. I'm recording that off the mics going in here. So you're getting a little bit of a masterclass on podcasting here today as well. You get to pick my brains while we're here.
That is sick, man. That is sick. And anyway, speaking of Instagram ads, I feel like I got to show off what I got off Instagram. This is it.
Oh, did you buy that off Insta?
Yeah, baby.
You sold a MAGA hat.
My Instagram algorithm is cooked, man.
I could imagine it was very tempting.
Dude, I saw it. I was just like, you know what? There's no Louis Vuitton, nothing that's going to get me this kind of clout. I'm going to buy the hat.
IWC watches. Yeah. Well, it's a cool hat.
Yeah, immediately. What's going on, man?
You know what, like, the genius of Donald Trump was, and like I don't love talking about politics on this podcast, so I try to steer away from it, but I like to give credit where credit's due. And like, I don't know if any other presidents, well, not many, there have been others before him for sure, but I don't know if many come with a slogan, like invented a slogan for their campaign.
Nothing, dude.
And he's quite honestly brilliant when it comes to marketing and campaigning. Hi.
How you going? It's the power of the hat, baby.
We're going to have people saying hello as we walk past. Honestly, and I'm going to be doing weird things with my arm until the sun goes away because I hate getting sunburned.
Oh, dude, I told you we should have. I should have sat there, man.
I always sit here.
Do you want to swap?
No, I don't.
We can swap.
No, it's an OCD thing.
I'm only cosplaying as a white guy. I'm actually not.
It's an OCD thing. It's an OCD thing. But why don't we introduce you a little bit? Why don't you sort of bring the audience up to speed on who you are? And because there's going to be people that are friends and family of yours that are going to watch this who obviously know you, but there's going to be some other randos that don't.
Shit, okay. I'm a comedian now. I'm a comedian. I'm new to it.
What do you mean now? What have you been doing?
Well, I used to not be a comedian. And now, I don't know, I tore my ACL about 2 years ago.
Okay.
That was my outlet for fun and just living life. And that was my
what, comedy?
No, before comedy.
Yeah.
Let's go back. I used to play a lot of sport.
Yeah.
I used to play basketball and I really love rugby league.
Ah.
Moved to Townsville. I was playing rugby there. Tore the ACL. Couldn't use the body anymore. And I had no outlet.
So, what took you to Townsville? Where are you from?
I was born in India, Kerala, India. It's South India.
Yeah.
And my parents moved to Dubai. Then we came to Australia when I was about 13. Just been here ever since.
Okay.
Grew up in Melbourne.
Grew up in Melbourne. Okay, so you're from here.
Yeah. So I'm from Melbourne.
You're a local. But then you moved up to Townsville.
Well, there was that thing that happened where everyone had to lock into their houses.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah. So I was just like, I'm not having any of this.
Yeah. So you moved. You got out.
I just went. I'm gone. I'm going to North Queensland.
Nice.
Went to North Queensland. Loved it.
What was it like up there? Was it locked down?
Amazing. Freedom.
Yeah.
Imagine so thing with big cities I've noticed is that you kind of don't really have any accountability to the people you see. You're not going to see them again, right?
That's
Whereas
true.
in a smaller town, you're going to see these people again. Everyone acts different, man.
I love that. I love that. Accountability for your community.
Everyone acts different. And it's not like you don't know these people, but you're going to see them again. Somewhere in the back of your head, you go, I'm going to see this dude again.
Better not mess with that guy.
Yeah, I'm just going to be a nicer version of myself.
Yeah.
And eventually that becomes completely unconscious. And now that I'm back here, people will be like, you act a bit country. You act in a bit country, like open, like being like
friendly.
Yeah. And I'm just like, that's actually just being nice.
Well, that's the thing that I guess took me about you the other night when we met is just how friendly you were. And,
fresh from Townsville, baby.
Not to say that like that's an extraordinary trait, but it's noticeable when you see it. When you see someone who's that little bit extra friendly, you notice it and it's nice. And you sort of gravitate towards people like that, which is, yeah, you were super keen. We talked about the podcast really quickly. I was like, do you want to come on? You were like, yeah, let's do it. It just seemed easy. It was a nice, easy interaction. You're right. City people aren't easy sometimes.
Yeah. Everyone's just in their own. I've noticed something about Melbourne, man, and all cities that I've been to. Everyone's in their own sort of lane. They go, look, I got to get this done. I don't have time for this. And actually, when you realize you do have time opens up. So I think that.
I like that.
Yeah.
That's a really nice sentiment, actually. When you realize you have time, you make time. That's what people say. That's what those inspo kind of guys all over the internet. That's one of the things that they say. Everyone's talking about how time poor they are, but really you'll make time for the things that matter to you. Something like that.
Yeah, it is a pet peeve of mine to see those guys. You ever seen those dudes? They're like, you're always like 25.
You almost cliched one right there.
Yeah. I've become the thing that I...
Isn't that funny? Man,
maybe they're right.
My ass is so sore right now. It is burning right now.
You've been doing squats? What have you been doing? What's wrong?
No.
You left the chair in the sun.
On a hot seat, yeah. That's my bad. But I swear the sun's going to leave in 10 minutes and the video quality is going to completely change. We'll be getting blown out by the sun right now, but
the sun is going to leave and come back and leave again. That's one thing I've noticed about Melbourne. It's like a woman.
Okay, we're getting insight into your personal life there. But, so I think we interrupted the story a little bit when I had to ask, like, what were you before? So you played a lot of sports. Now you're a comedian. So when did you discover that you were like funny or you had the desire to want to be on stage and tell jokes?
Man, I'll tell you what. They give you these. I've always used humor as a way to get out of any problems I've had. I've just laughed them off. Like that's the best way to deal with it, I think.
Yeah.
Like serious problems, you make an inappropriate joke, and then two things will happen. One, either everyone will laugh and it'll be all good. Two, people will be like, why would you say that? And now the problem is you saying that and not the actual problem. So it's like, it's either way.
It's like a deflection mechanism.
And it works great. And I went, you know what? I've seen other people do comedy. I'm going to give it a go. I'm such a big comedy fan, obviously, my whole life.
Who are your faves?
Do you want to do a Mount Rushmore?
Yeah, let's do a Rushmore. Oh, can I do a Rushmore too?
I want you to do a Rushmore first.
Oh, you want me to do mine first?
I want you to do a Rushmore first.
Okay. Ooh. All right. Robin Williams.
No one's going to argue with that.
Yeah, Robin Williams was a special man.
He knew some things too.
Yeah.
He knew some things.
I'm sure.
I think he was weighed down by the things he knew.
I
We won't go
wouldn't
into
be
that. It's
surprised.
a pretty heavy topic.
Let's continue with Rushmore. I know, because like we can get sidetracked. That's the thing. Okay. Dave Chappelle.
Yeah, old Chappelle and new Chappelle, because new Chappelle's a preacher more than a comic.
I can't split them.
You can't? Okay.
I can't split them.
Because old Chappelle is definitely on everyone's Rushmore.
Old Chappelle, for sure.
Freak.
But new Chappelle, I still love the guy.
He's legit.
I still love him. You know what? Sacha Baron Cohen.
Hey.
Ali G. Like, the only comedian to ever make me laugh so hard by playing the character of Ali G that I laughed myself into a coughing fit, which then turned into pneumonia, which then turned into a chest infection. I was coughing up blood for 2 weeks because of how hard I was laughing at Ali G. Yes, that happened. Who's my fourth? This one's going to be hard because, you know, with the fourth one, you always miss someone. Like, you got to miss someone.
You can have 5.
No.
All right, you can have to choose now.
Oh, shit.
Man, with Sacha Baron Cohen, there were so many things I wanted to say that were not M-rated, man.
Oh, you know what? 2 Americans, 2 Brits, Ricky Gervais.
Ooh, that is a solid top 4, man. You can't argue with that.
You know who else? If I could have had a fifth,
Yep.
I would have put Bill Burr in there.
He's on mine.
Okay, well now we've got to go with yours.
He's on mine. Bill Burr's got to be on mine. I just love the ranting style. He's got his own unique style that I'm super inspired by, man.
He's so good.
And I listen to his podcast.
Oh, he's got a podcast.
It's just him by himself reading letters, answering the letters.
He's got the best voice. His accent is genius. Like, I know it's a typical like New York Queens accent or something.
I think it's Boston.
Is it?
What do you want?
It really suits him.
Yeah, he's a king. He's a king.
All right.
What
Bill
else?
Burr.
Bill Burr. We got Bill Burr. Look, I got to put this guy on there because I'll just say the name. Russell Peters.
Russell Peters.
Oh yeah, you want to know who? Russell Peters is I'm Anglo-Indian.
Russell Peters. Someone mentioned him the other day to me, but I still haven't looked him up.
So Russell Peters, in my opinion, is on my Mount Rushmore because before him, there was comedy fans. There's people that like comedy. After Russell Peters, everyone from South Asia, Asia in general, every mum and dad loved comedy. The dude dropped this absolute like fire special.
What was it?
I think it was like it's called Somebody Gonna Get a Hurt Real Bad. Have you heard that one?
No, but it's funny.
You got to look
It's a
up
funny
Russell Peters,
title.
man. He does these impressions of Asian dads and Indian dads, and they just
I don't
land.
know I would have seen it.
That's the first comedy special I saw, and I was blown away. I was like, I can't believe a dude can do this to me. I was in stitches, and my dad, who's the most stoic dude in the world, was fully like laughing, and I was looking at my dad. I was like, "You all right, man?
So that's my Ali G. That's my Ali G.
Yeah. It was insane, and Russell Peters, and everyone liked him. So, yeah, he changed the game. From Russell Peters has to be up there.
Nice. I love that. I'm gonna write that one down.
Russell Peters. Bill Burr.
Taking it home.
We've got Bill Burr, Russell Peters.
Yep. You got 2 more.
Norm Macdonald.
Norm Macdonald.
Norm Macdonald.
Damn, you're pulling out names I don't know. Not that I'm claiming to be an expert in comedy.
Norm Macdonald is what is he on? He's like friends with Adam Sandler and shit. He's really
so American.
Canadian.
Okay.
Canadian. He's pretty famous.
So what do we got? Who and the other guy was Anglo-Indian. Russell Peters.
Peters Anglo-Indian. I'm Anglo-Indian. He's Anglo-Indian. When I saw it, I was just like, you know.
Nice.
And I think that's what planted the seed in my head.
Yeah.
Finally, George Carlin. Got to give it to Carlin. George Carlin, the GOAT. Every comedian's favorite comedian, George Carlin.
Nice. I feel intimidated by your 4. Because I felt like my 4 was pretty formidable, but then your 4 seems like it's got extra layers of history and knowledge attached to it.
I think it's just a personal thing, man.
It's a damn good 8, though. I'll give it that.
Yeah, you know who? If anyone has Kevin Hart in their top, then I'm like, okay,
Rushmore.
Yeah.
You don't put Kevin Hart in
Kevin
your
Hart.
Rushmore. If you put Kevin Hart in your Rushmore, you got to put The Rock in it as well, don't you?
The Rock, Kevin Hart. Friggin' who else is on there? Chris Tucker's actually a good comedian. I like Chris Tucker.
Chris Tucker. Shanghai Nights. No, that was.
No, that's the.
What am I thinking of?
That's
Jackie
the white
Chan.
guy with a
Did I racially?
the black guy. Yes.
Yeah, that was. What was that? Rush Hour. Rush Hour.
You think of Shanghai Noon, Shanghai Nights? They're classics, dude.
Yeah. Love Jackie Chan. We'll put Jackie Chan up there as well. He's funny.
Jackie Chan's legit.
Just the way he mimes, you know.
He does this weird thing where he's like, I don't want any trouble, but he's bashing everyone. He's like, and he's just
He's like the innocent assassin.
I don't want any trouble. And he's
Jackie
just
Chan.
bashing, he's head kicking dudes.
So where were we? We were talking about you though. We were talking about like why you started comedy.
Hey, is Jackie Chan over there now? It
Don't
was just
look.
Nation guy.
Don't look at everyone. And so yeah, tell us a little bit about the comedy journey then. Like what happened there?
Yeah, so I started doing comedy, got into the scene in Townsville. It's a very small scene, small town.
Yeah,
So
I was
if-
watching some of your reels before. I could see it wasn't. Yeah,
Yeah, it wasn't super big, but if you're good, they'll embrace you. They'll come out, they'll show
you
up.
did a
man.
few jokes about their mayor up there as well.
Yes,
I learned a little bit
yes,
watching
yes.
that.
She ran someone. She killed someone, and then went to work the same day.
Like nothing happened.
Yeah, and then like she ran a red light, ran this dude over. Police came. She's like, I gotta go to work. Went to work, went home. Court case ongoing. Kept her mayorship. Did her term. Was exonerated and just carried on. I was like, this is crazy. What?
Yeah, it's going back to like, you know, I guess humor for you is a way of deflecting, and I guess there's things in like society that are so bewildering that you've got to make jokes.
We've got to
or
laugh
make
about
light.
it. We've
Yeah.
got to laugh about it, man. And you know what? I got to give it up to the GOAT of comedy right now. This dude right here. Dude, he's electric on the mic.
You know, it's hard for any other politicians to compete against a guy who's been in the media, who's had his own TV show.
Yeah.
It's. I feel sorry for anyone that's got to come up against him.
Yeah, they've
in
got
a
to debate
campaign.
this dude, and he's just running circles, man. He'll come up with a nickname for you like that.
He's fascinating.
He'll do impressions of you, and you're just like, what do I do now? Donald, we need to talk about the policies. He's like, you're gay. He's like,
You do the accent really well. You know, when Shane Gillis, is it Shane Gillis?
oh, dude, yeah,
does,
Shane Gillis.
does Trump?
Right now, Shane Gillis is my favorite, dude.
See, because I don't watch much of anything. I've only seen a little bit of Shane Gillis. I saw something when he was on Kill Tony and he was doing Trump.
Yeah.
Dude, I lost my mind.
It's basically Trump. He could stand in for Trump.
He,
They could send
He
him to
could.
North Korea.
They could send him to places. Actually, I think Trump gets along quite well with Kim Jong.
Yeah, I've seen him walk around. They're like full like friends. Kim Jong's like, hey.
You know what was fascinating when I learned that Dennis Rodman and Kim Jong Un had like a bromance. That was just mind blowing. That's where, Joe Rogan talks about like, yeah, I'm convinced we live in a simulation. That's a we live in a simulation moment. When the guy that you grew up going, this guy's doing like sex tapes and he's sleeping with supermodels and he's winning championships with the Chicago Bulls, goes and meets like the guy that everyone's supposed to be feared of.
That's for me. That's like a everybody is a good person moment. That's when you go like, hang on a second. These both these dudes are like just dudes. They're just dudes.
Yeah.
If you put a spotlight on my life, you'd be like, this guy's evil.
Yeah.
He's evil. He's done so much stuff. He masturbates a lot. It'd be like, he's the worst. But
Who doesn't?
Yeah,
Who
man,
doesn't?
yeah.
Please don't try and claim that like it's
yeah,
yours.
it's facts.
But
Facts.
no, I think you're right. I mean, we talked a little bit about that before I pressed record, and I'm definitely recording. I had to double check that because sometimes I forget.
I think we just started recording. I think the light just went on, dude.
No.
You sure?
Yeah, I'm
Okay.
positive. And we were talking a little bit about like, because I guess to bring the audience up to speed, this podcast was a way, especially after COVID, for me to come back to a project that I really loved, that I felt had the power to bring people together through common ground, through the things that unite us and not divide us. Because I feel as though mainstream media and governments do a really great job of divisive stuff as it is. And I think it's everyone in society's responsibility to try and break the shackles of that by doing the opposite, right? And so the podcast was really, for me, an opportunity to do that, whether you agree with it or not, at least in some part, right? And I was talking about like today, I really want to sort of, because I know that you like to go into controversial topics and stuff like that, which I think you and I will find a lot of common ground in there because
It's just fun.
you would be surprised. I'm quite like that myself, but
You're just a guy with testosterone, man.
what I wanted was to reveal the side of you today that your best friends love about you. Like the people that know you really
That's
well love about
the
you.
racist and sexist side you want to reveal. That's what they love, dude. They love that.
Well,
I'm kidding.
There's a part of me that's fascinated with that, right? Because there's a safe space to talk about anything.
Yeah.
I believe that. And I think what I liked about when I was doing research on you and watching some of your reels and stuff and going, oh, that thing's going to ruffle feathers, or that would ruffle a lot of feathers. What I love about you is how safe you feel to be yourself. And that is honestly an admirable trait.
I think it's because comedy has given me that license that if I find something funny and I'm not trying to hurt anyone by doing it, we can laugh at it. We can laugh at it together. Let's laugh at it together.
Yeah.
Let's make it funny. Let's take it, effectively. You're taking the power out of something when you make it funny. Like you take it's serious, and then it's funny, and when it's funny, it's just fun. It's just fun. We're laughing together. Like I've had.
I mean, it doesn't change the thing. The thing still happened, or the thing still is what it is.
But now we can laugh about it.
I think people get confused between laughter as a way of deflecting, or taking the power out of something and maliciousness. I think that's where a lot of people get confused with laughter. I think one of my favorite, most memorable moments on this podcast was when I interviewed this Tibetan Buddhist guy, right, who's meditation teachers in New York City, right, and him and I were talking, and I was getting to know him, and he was talking about, he's got this concept of the ugly baby. People will come to his enlightenment studio. It's called 3 Jewels Enlightenment Studio in New York City. People would come in, and he goes, and what they do is they just dump all their trauma onto you, and they give you all their ugly baby. And what happens is they get really shocked when he just starts laughing. Like he'll just start laughing, and they get really surprised and shocked, like he's supposed to, go, so sorry, this and that. And so what he taught me was that it's a very Buddhist kind of thing to not fall into the trap of going down that rabbit hole of sorrow or feeling, I guess, I don't know, like you need to console someone for something, but you can take the power out of it by just laughing.
I think that's funny that someone comes up to him and be like, I was abused as a child. And he's like, that's hilarious.
Well, he's trained not to fall for the trap of or getting into someone's trauma. That's what it is.
So what are they going to him for? What's the point?
I think when they're at that stage, they're in that very early stages of their journey. They don't understand it yet. They go to him to teach them, but then they're not there yet. They just walk through the door.
And he's from New York City?
No, he's an Aussie guy. Born in Argentina, raised in Australia, funny as hell. He's got the best sense of humor, honestly.
Did he have a German last name?
Hector Marcel.
And he's from Argentina?
Yeah. Please. He's white too. Do we want to go there?
No,
and he was blonde.
And he was... Make of that what you will.
Yeah. I mean, I think a lot of people know now that what happened after World War II.
Yes.
I mean, do we really want to open that can of worms? I think what I was saying is that what I love about you is that you feel safe to be yourself.
Yes, let's get into the conspiracy. No,
that's not me deflecting.
He definitely escaped to Argentina, dude. There's no body. You know what I mean?
Who escaped Argentina?
Hitler.
Bro, you're on pages. I haven't skipped to that page of the book yet.
Yeah, sorry. No, the conspiracy
escaped Germany.
There's a whole bunch of German Argentinians, like so many of them.
Yeah,
and they all went there after World War II.
Well, a lot of them went to Venezuela. A lot of
South America.
Yeah, South America,
especially Argentina, though.
South America was very prosperous. Yeah. I've met some very blonde, blue-eyed Argentinian girls.
Yes, they're all Nazis, dude.
Yeah. Well, they descend.
No, they're not. They're not personally Nazis. They're of Nazi descent.
Potentially, yeah. But I mean, we all descended from someone that did someone shit.
No,
I
not me.
guarantee you.
No, not me. No.
No, you're the one doing it.
I'm the one. I'm the.
Yeah, your offspring will be the one saying that. Yeah.
Yeah. If I have him, dude, I had the COVID shot, so we'll see.
You did?
Yeah. Double vax, dude.
It's one thing that I didn't get.
You didn't get it? That's crazy.
I didn't get.
That's crazy.
I didn't get forced by my employer.
You got kids?
I just got told that I wasn't allowed to work with the others in the office. I could deal with that.
They got you your own pen, like your own.
No, I just had to stay working from home.
Oh no! How horrible.
Yeah, I know. Then I quit and moved to Europe. And then I realized that Europe was just as bad.
Dude, you were in Europe for the last how long?
I went
because that was only like 2 years ago, man.
Yeah, I was there in 2022 for 6 months.
Whereabouts?
Ireland, France, Spain, Italy,
how crazy is it in Europe that you see these buildings and they're just old, ancient buildings, man, and people are just using them. Yeah. Like, it's crazy. It's insane. That, like, here there'd be a museum. There'd be like heritage listed in that.
Yeah.
It just reminds you how new Australia is as a country.
Yeah, it does. But for me, it was cool to see how old things are, to appreciate how old society is in Europe. You know, like I was walking through Rome. I fell in love with Rome, man. I love Rome. I'd go back there in a heartbeat. But I've got to, I mean, the day I landed, I went to see the Chemical Brothers in a race course.
Oh, shit.
At a concert. And that was the sickest gig. And I was in Rome.
Do they use the Colosseum for concerts?
No.
Why not?
They should.
They should.
They probably should for operas or something special there.
Well, let's use it.
Like, who would you see? You'd see a comedy show live
Yeah.
at the Colosseum.
And they'd all finish with, "Are you not entertained?" They'd all finish with that.
But yeah, you're right. Like, there's a lot of history there. And everything's so close as well.
Yeah, man.
So close.
It's a whole different, like, you realize Australia is so new because there's so few things. Like, for example, America, right? Let's pick California. We've got three.
Sure.
We've got one state, 3 cities: San Diego, Los Angeles, and there's one more, San Francisco.
Isn't Sacramento there as well?
Yeah,
Sacramento?
There's a bunch of places.
5 cities.
Yeah, and there's like all these, but in Victoria, you got Melbourne. That's it.
Yeah.
We're
It's
so young
fast.
as a country, man. We're building a culture.
That's true, but like 80% of Australia's desert as well.
Well,
The
people
United
still live there. Like, Alice Springs is a place.
Yeah,
It's not just, it's not a prison.
That's true.
You know.
Would you go and live in Alice Springs?
Yes,
They had the curfews there.
I would live there.
recently.
I would live there, dude. I love Aboriginal people.
But it's not to do with that. I'm a coastal person. I need the beach. I need to be somewhere close to some sand and some water, and
know
hopefully
what?
they're together.
You know, I haven't been to Alice Springs, dude. I'm gonna have to go there.
I've been.
Yeah.
I went for school camp. Yeah.
They took you to Alice Springs?
Yep.
Why? What are they doing?
Well, it's supposed to be a Central Australia trip, which culminates at Alice Springs. And so you go through from Melbourne, you go through to Adelaide, through some national parks, you end up in Coober Pedy, then you head from there, you head north, you get to
What school did
Uluru,
you go to?
Berwick Secondary College.
Dude, you're from Southeast?
Yeah.
Dude, I'm from Dandy.
That's where I landed.
That's crazy.
I was a fob. Yeah.
Where'd you
when I
come
landed in
from?
Australia, Venezuela.
Hablo español?
See?
Fuck, I'm learning French right now.
Look at you.
También, yo también.
Wow. Good accent.
I'm español, bro. Dude, I love Spanish. I love Spanish, dude.
Why? What made you want to learn Spanish?
Oh man, I don't know, dude. I used to watch like a lot of television.
fascinating.
My grandma, so we're Anglo-Indian, right? And
What does Anglo-Indian mean? Can you explain
Oh,
that?
okay.
Because I was just going along with it, but now you've raised it a few
Okay.
times.
So there's a community. India's like a really diverse. Like, there's more people in India than there is in Africa, right? In the whole continent of Africa, there's more people in the
yeah.
country of India. So there's so many different ethnic and genetic groups.
Yeah.
Anglo-Indians are a group, a subculture. It's not really a genetic culture, a genetic group.
Just like a culture.
Yeah, it's a culture. So basically, what happened was colonization happened when British people and Indian people mixed. And then that stopped. There was a rule that, like, I think if you're a British man and you married an Indian woman, you got to take her back to England. I'm pretty sure. But if you were a British woman and you married an Indian man, you now had to stay in India.
Whoa.
Right. So the offspring of those people were mixed.
That
right?
seems unfair.
I didn't make the rules, bro. And
It's such an odd rule.
yeah.
When we go back through history and look at the rules.
Man, I'm not a historian, but I'm pretty sure that was the case in some places.
Yeah, right.
Obviously, I'm sure like a bunch of people stayed because India's amazing, bro.
Yeah, right.
And the offspring of those people weren't really able to mix back in with the Indian population.
Yeah.
They created their own culture. They had their own community. They had their own like way of speaking English as well. We have like an accent, like a specific Anglo-Indian accent, and food. And then generations of people have just built that
What's
culture.
the language?
Oh, it's like Creole English, bro. Like it's like a English with an accent. We still speak the native language of the state that we're in. Every state has its own Anglo-Indian community. There's Anglo-Indians playing in the AFL. They're like undercover, dude.
No way.
Yeah. There's
Undercover.
what's his name? Sam Kerr, the Aussie football player.
Oh yeah.
She's
yeah,
Anglo-Indian.
yeah. Really?
Her
Okay.
brother, Daniel Kerr, premiership winner for the West Coast. He's Anglo-Indian.
Are they related? I know Daniel.
Yeah,
Kerr.
they are related. Yeah, that's
Wow.
that's him.
Yeah,
Yeah.
wow. Wow, he must be quite a bit older than her.
Guy Sebastian.
Okay.
There you
Never
go.
would have picked that. I would have thought he was from Fiji or something.
No.
He looks Fijian.
He does. He does.
I mean, to be fair.
Yeah. He looks Islander. I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he sings like an Islander too.
Yeah. So Anglo-Indian, and then you've got this fascination for languages. I love that.
So telenovelas, like during World War II and all those times, like the TV in South India had a lot of like telenovelas and stuff, dude. Like
Telenovelas,
Spanish
Oh.
TV novellas.
Oh, yeah, yes.
And I just loved them, dude. Indian people love that shit. They love the drama. Like
So you like pick up because like would they have subtitles or
subtitles.
just
But
pick up
then
Spanish?
I was always fascinated with it. Couldn't really speak it. Then I just went, you know what? I'm gonna learn it. Where in university I picked it up as an extra subject. And I was like, this is great. I'm gonna do the second level. Did the second level. Ahora todo at the end I understand everything.
Wow.
Pero no puedo hablar con fluencia. I can't.
I reckon you might be better than me,
Yeah.
which is sad. Sad to admit. Yeah.
But eres de Venezuela, bro. What's going
I
on?
know everyone says that. Don't give me that, please. Don't give me that. Well, we've had that our whole lives, So my mum got together with this Aussie guy, essentially, and he brought us over to Australia. My mum split from my biological father, and then we came to Australia. The thing about us growing up, though, is like the stepdad wasn't really fluent in Spanish, right?
Okay.
So we, unlike all of
So you're full Venezuelan, bro. You're not even half.
full Venezuela.
Okay.
Yeah. So unlike all of the Colombian families that moved here from, Colombia, that come and we were friends with them or whatever, that spoke Spanish at home, we didn't have that rule because we had a stepdad who spoke English, right? So we basically lost our Spanish. Now, in private, like when mum was just with the two of us, meaning my brother and I, she would revert to Spanish. But we always had this thing where we just responded in English. And what I realized when I was trying to learn Spanish again in my late 20s was that there wasn't a problem with my comprehension. I could understand, but for some reason I couldn't get the words out.
Yeah.
And that's where I learned that your tongue is actually a muscle, and
you have to actually
muscles retain memory, hence muscle memory. Most people know that.
Yeah.
It's not just an arbitrary thing.
No,
it's true.
yeah,
Muscles
it's a real
have
thing.
memory.
Yeah.
Your body retains memories. Trauma is stored in your body. If you listen to Joe Dispenza, right? So all of that makes sense, right? And so I started learning Spanish, but then I started learning French. And I was more motivated because it was a whole new language. I felt motivated just to learn it from scratch.
Yeah.
And what I did was I would say everything out loud. Even the exercises on Duolingo that was just read this or type
For
this.
French?
Yeah. I would just say everything out
It is
loud.
the worst thing you can do if you're Spanish to learn French, dude.
I found it okay. I found it easy.
But your Spanish is cooked now. Like
No, it came back. It came back. But my French got to a fairly decent level fairly quickly because of the amount of like speech that I did. I would say things. And so then I came back to Spanish and I used the same technique because it's like trying to build that memory in your tongue.
Dude, I'm actually hyped that you're actually like from. I didn't know. I know you're Luis Diaz. Like I was like, oh yeah, no, he could be, but I couldn't. I wasn't. I wasn't sure. I love Spanish people, man.
I'm hyped. You know what? Dude. I'm hyped that you have this fascination for languages,
Dude,
Spanish and French.
Oh man. Yeah, no, like French was just a extra thing that I picked up, but I'm actually really passionate about Spanish, dude. Yeah. I love South American culture, and general, like all the places in South America seem so fascinating to me. They're all so different, man. They have such a crazy history, man. Like
and you're right. You're right about all of that. That there's a lot of beautiful culture there. There's also a lot of culture that leaves a lot to be admired. But I was almost thinking that you were going to tell me that you you just wanted to pick up some Latinas. That's why. Dude, and then you had the most sophisticated answer. You were like, well, I'm Anglo-Indian. And, they used to tell telenovelas in the Second World War. You're giving me a history lesson.
Yeah, you were just like, yeah, it's big bully Latinas. We get it, Luke. That's what we wanted. Rose, I don't know, man.
I don't know why I stereotyped you so quickly. It must have been the masturbation comment at the beginning.
Well, it's just the Latinas in Melbourne. They're all Chilean, dude. They're all from Chile.
There's a lot of Colombians here, man.
Is there? I haven't seen
so
one,
many
man.
Colombians. Are you kidding?
I'm going to say, you know what? My favorite South American people?
They're everywhere.
Favorite South American people? Salvadorans, man. Salvadorans are the funniest people, man.
Are they Central American?
I don't know where they're from, man, but they love to laugh, man.
Technically Central American. I
Yeah.
work for a guy who's El Salvadorian. Yeah. They're good-humoured people.
They just
Yeah,
laugh. They
you're
just
right.
laugh. They laugh at everything.
Yeah. I feel like Islanders are like that. I feel like when I meet Islanders, whether it's Maldives or, I don't know, Fijians or whatever, man,
Yeah.
they just love a good giggle, eh?
You do not want to meet a Fijian on the rugby. What do you call it, pitch?
I do not.
Dude, they're
My kid plays rugby and she's, she plays up in Queensland. And I'm like, girl, you better get your
Fijians
skates
are
on.
crazy, man. They just, I don't know how
They're
they
built
do it.
for it. It's their sport.
They're so strong and fast. How can you be that strong that fast? It's not fair.
When I watch the Rugby World Cup, the Rugby Union World Cup, and I see the Fiji team in the heats, in like the rounds, and I'm like, how is anyone going to beat these guys with some of those tackles? But
Dude.
somehow the organised teams get past them.
Sometimes, you know what they do? They do this thing where they chant these like Fijian hymns in their like locker room sometimes. And if you're playing against them and you hear that hymn, it's like, it's worse than the haka, man. You're listening, you're like, oh, they have all these Fijians, man. We're cooked. We're finished.
Yeah. That would send chills through me for sure.
We're finished.
You know, I'm noticing you're very educated, and you talked about university. Like, what did you study?
I studied a commerce and economics double degree, man.
You're a smart guy. You're a smart guy. You know what? I see this content on social media, and I'm like, there's more to you than this. I know it.
I'm not just a racist.
I can tell.
I'm an educated racist.
Yeah. Well, I can tell there's more
And a
to you.
sexist.
I think there's more to you than those sides, and I'm glad we're finally.
No, I'm
uncovering
actually,
it.
just to clarify, I'm not those things. They're just jokes.
I know.
Okay, just in case, people,
I can't.
you know what I mean?
Well,
They're
you're
like,
the one that had to clarify,
Yeah,
not
yeah,
me,
yeah,
because
yeah.
we've only just met. This is our first real conversation.
this is our first real
I
conversation.
mean, we chatted.
Yeah.
We did some like meet and greet chat the other night, but I had to rush back upstairs because I didn't want to miss the comedy.
Yeah.
This is our first conversation. So if you're going to label yourself something, I'm going to let you own that. You're going to have to undo
All right,
it.
I'm standing on business. Let's say the N-word right now. No, I'm kidding.
What do you think of the vibe? The
Dude,
sun's
it's great.
finally gone
It's
away.
great. Like, do you reckon there are any other tourists besides Chinese people?
There are so many Chinese tourists here.
And they're the best tourists, dude.
They have a lot of money.
Yeah.
They bring a ton of cash.
They all dress like 50s Americans.
Extremely elegant.
Yeah.
You're right.
They got like scarves and like hats and the big sunglasses.
I love them. I grew up out in Berwick. You know, you would barely see an Asian. So when you did, they'd get picked on. And, like you'd just join in.
And now Berwick is just Indian. It's just, there's only just, dude,
I
they
haven't
have to
been
be
out
stopped.
to Berwick for so long.
There is, dude, you go to Berwick.
No.
No?
no, I'm not going
He
back.
won't even go to Berwick. He's scared now.
I'm not going back. But
Where do you live now, dude?
I live in Ascot Vale, like just
West side?
next to Flemington. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Just in from Footscray. And hello, hi. May as well give them the thumbs up.
Ni hao, baby.
But I ni hao, baby. But you know what? I've started to really fall in love with the Chinese culture.
Yep.
For some reason, I feel like they're just a little bit more relatable than they've ever been. I feel like just that little blend of you come a little bit to the West, but you infuse us a little bit with your Eastern conservative wisdom, and I feel like that's the perfect blend. I love that.
That's your gateway drug to the CCP, dude. Eventually, you're gonna be.
That's my
like,
gateway
that's the gateway drug, dude. They're like, yeah, look, hot pot, quail eggs, pretty nice, right?
It's true.
Pretty soon, you're like,
I'm halfway there.
yeah. Pretty
Right.
soon, you're a communist.
What's his name? Xi Jinping.
Xi Jinping, Winnie
Just
the
call me
Pooh.
Xi Jinping. Just call this the Xi Jinping Diaz podcast.
Imagine if he came on here, dude, and he's like just a super cool dude.
I reckon he would be.
Yeah, I reckon he would be.
I reckon if you lit up a cigarette with Xi Jinping, he'd be down.
Pulls out a joint. It's like the best weed you'll ever get.
You know, controlling a billion people is
Dude,
really
it's
hard,
not
man.
easy, man. Xi Jinping.
Well, that comes back to our point before about the whole Dennis Rodman, Kim Jong-un thing. You know, Dennis Rodman and Kim Jong-un, what a bizarre couple.
I think Kim loves basketball, man.
That was the thing. And apparently he was educated in the United States.
Which is random
think he went to college
because
there.
they had him. Why would they let him go? Now he's causing problems.
Well, I think he paid. I think they paid. They paid good money to have him educated there. He fell in love with basketball, became a big fan, became a Rodman fan. Rodman goes over to North Korea. You can't write. The thing
write
about
that.
life is that the best stories are real stories. The funniest stories are real stories. It's not made up stuff. It's not. Like Friends or whatever. Comedy skits that have been written by writers. It's real life stories
It's
are
real
the
life stuff.
funniest. And then there's Ali G. That's the exception.
Speaking of basketball, have you seen Fidel Castro's basketball highlights?
Absolutely not.
Dude is a baller.
Well, how? What?
He's hooping, man. He's hooping. I love basketball, and Fidel Castro
I think
can
he
ball,
was
man.
tall.
Yeah, but he had just such a smooth. He's just hooping. He's like doing these layups. He's shooting the threes. Like
Cuba.
you can't stop him. It's crazy. I don't know if it was a propaganda video, but he was definitely hooping, dude. He was hooping. He got a body doubler. He just got like Jokic to play.
Yeah, well, they didn't have AI back then, so it has to have been done.
It was Castro, dude. It was him. I'm telling you, I'm watching it. Who do you reckon Xi Jinping might be friends with?
No, probably some very wealthy, definitely just wealthy business people. I think. I don't know if
But
there's
yeah,
anyone
reality
famous.
is crazy than fiction. And you mentioned Friends, and I want to talk about this fiction stuff.
Yeah.
Because
Friends.
Friends, I remember it was so big in the 90s. And 2000s, it was huge,
love
dude.
Friends. Oh, well, I still kind of have a soft spot for Friends.
Every episode was just a run back of like, they meet someone to be in a relationship with, they get to know them, and then they break up and it's funny. It's funny. It's like somehow they all just laugh about it. But in real life, man, that's not like that. You get to meet someone and you break up and it's heart-wrenching. It's not funny.
Yeah.
You know?
Friends had a really great way of putting light on a lot of like lives.
No, I'm not giving Friends any credit, dude. I'm a Seinfeld guy.
I am.
I'm a Seinfeld guy.
Yeah, but they didn't really, like, they never collided.
Chandler was the only good friend.
Friends and Seinfeld kind of overlapped for a little bit and then skipped each other. They weren't competitors.
I feel like, no, they're not competitors, but people that like Seinfeld don't like Friends. People that like Friends don't like Seinfeld. Who likes both? Do you like both?
I do.
You like both?
I do.
You're lying.
No, it's not. It's not a lie. And actually, I became more of a Friends guy until I discovered the Seinfeld channel on the 9 app recently.
Oh, dude, yes. Nine was running Seinfeld every single day.
It was 24/7
Yeah.
Seinfeld,
Yeah,
and
it
then I
was
fell
great.
in love with it again.
You come for Kramer, but you stay for George. You come for Kramer, you're like, oh my God, Kramer's here, yay. Eventually, you're just like, George, he's just like me. I feel the same way.
Oh, bro, I'm sorry to hear that.
Hey, fuck you, man.